The wrestling season is underway, and I am headed up this weekend to get eyes on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They are starting their season with a home duel against the Stanford Cardinal, and there's a lot of hype around this duel. There's a lot of hype around Stanford coming into this year. They have a lot of highly ranked guys. They had 2 wrestlers at the All-Star Classic, and they've got a host of talent headed to Gallagher, Iowa to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And the reason I want to go is there's a couple of reasons. One, I just love wrestling. I can go to Gallagher, Iowa. It's like a 6-ish hour drive if I got pedal to the metal from here in Austin, Texas. And so I want to go. I want to see. But also, this Oklahoma State lineup, it's full of new faces. This is a team with, I think on Friday, they're going to have 9 new starters from last year. Only Troy Spratley remains. They're going to be different at 33. And I'll get into their presumed starters and what makes this such an interesting matchup. But that's what I want to see. How does this team look? Does this Oklahoma State squad, is this a team that could really go on a run at the national duels and potentially win that tournament? That's what I want to find out. Is this a team that can potentially get another trophy after starting the season in the preseason ranked number 8? They've already jumped up to number 5 because of the performances of Casey Swiderski and Zach Ryder at the All-Star Classic. So they're already have a little bit of momentum in the rankings, but they can prove a lot more this week against Stanford, and then the week after that in Tulsa at the National Duels Invitational. So let's take a look at some of the key matchups here, and it's going to start with a bang at 125 pounds. You got Ncaa Provo, number 11 out of Stanford. Now this guy ranked number 11, but it's 125, so they're all generally very, very close. Ncaa Provo is a guy that they have a ton of excitement about in Palo Alto. He missed last year, but the year before, you have to recall, he won Cliff Keen Las Vegas. Spratley was there, and he was ranked number 1 for a portion of that year. Now, you could say there were a lot of people ranked number 1. That's true, but they're all pretty freaking good, and so is Ncaa Provo. And now he's got a massive test against returning NCAA finalist Troy Spratley. And I'm curious how the momentum of an NCAA finals berth could potentially benefit, or what new wrinkles Troy Spratley could be bringing to his game. I'm excited for this one. And then 133 pounds, you got the first new face for Oklahoma State, national champion Richard Figueroa, but he's ranked number 12, and he's ranked that because he struggled last year. He didn't have a lot of elite wins. He was down at 125. He was pinned by Dean Peterson. He lost to Trevor Anderson. He had a loss to an unranked guy at Big 12s. So Richie has a lot to prove, right? He's up at a new weight, and even though he's a national champion, maybe not a lot to prove. Maybe that's not the best here, but he has there's a lot of questions about, is this the national champion Richard Figueroa, or is this the DMP Richard Figueroa? What are we going to get from Richie? New weight, new school, and he's going to have his hands full against Tyler Knox of Stanford, a returning All-American, a guy can really wrestle from everywhere, great scrambler, good from the top position, just a tough guy to get takedowns against. And for Richie Figs, his quick strike ability could be huge in a match like this. So we're going to learn a lot about Richie in this first match. If he goes and he looks good against Tyler Knox, that bodes extremely well for the Cowboys at 133 moving forward. If he goes and he loses and gets controlled, it's like, man, this is maybe another fringe All-American kind of season for Figueroa. So excited for this one. 141, it'll be probably Consiglio for Stanford, but the question is, who does Oklahoma State use? Is Tegan Jameson's not available for the first part of the year, it seems, injury. I think we're going to see Sergio Vega here, if I had to guess, although it could be Carter Young. And so I just want to see if it is, in fact, Sergio. All right, he's a true freshman. How does he look? It's his first college match in and don't misunderstand it. Wrestling in a home crowd that's crazy, that's just as nerve-wracking as wrestling in a hostile crowd for some wrestlers. So how does Sergio react? Consiglio is not a slouch at 141. And then at 149, Casey Swiderski, can he ride the momentum against Aiden Valencia, who, this is a guy who was a hard club and a double leg away from making the world team this year at the senior level, right? He's a guy with 2 wins over Real Woods, who we just watched win a world bronze medal. Aiden Valencia's caliber, his pedigree is high. Can he turn it into wins at the NCAA level is still the question. And for Casey Swiderski off a big win. Can you start stacking up big wins after big win? 157, maybe the biggest match. It's up there. It's going to be Daniel Cardenas, who's ranked number 5 for Stanford. Had a great season 2 years ago, and he redshirted last year. He looked good at the All-Star Classic, even though he lost to Ty Waters. And for Oklahoma State, who is it? Is it going to be T. Travis, who's kind of a known commodity, someone who's qualified for the NCAA tournament and won matches there? Or is it going to be another true freshman, Landon Robidoux, a Minnesota guy who is now at Oklahoma State, and there's a lot of excitement about Landon. I think we see Landon. I think this is a fire match. This is a great test for Landon Robidoux. See where he's at. If you can wrestle with Daniel Cardenas, you can wrestle with pretty much every 157-pounder in the country. Cardenas is just that good. And what better litmus test for what you have going into the national duels than to get this test against Cardenas. But then I think 165, this is the match. You've got the Stillwater boy, D. Lockett, true freshman. It's pretty much known he's going to be going, even though he's a true freshman. Taking on returning All-American, 2-time All-American, I believe, Hunter Garvin, who's ranked 4th right now. Garvin's got a crazy style, a lot of upper body stuff. He can really hand fight. He's a decent scrambler. Just injects a lot of chaos into a match. And so how D. Lockett fares against someone like Garvin will say a lot about how his season might go. So this is a big, big test for D. Lockett, and I can't wait to watch him go. I hope we see at 174, this duel is just unbelievably good. Alex Facundo, ranked number 11 versus number 16, Lorenzo Norman. We did not see Norman in the Utah Valley duel where Stanford fell to Utah Valley. And shout out to Coach Hall and the Wolverines, a great win there. But Lorenzo Norman is someone who, this is a guy with a win over Shane Griffith. This is a guy that was up big on Keegan O'Toole at the NCAA tournament. He can get to these big leads. He's a really good leg attacker and finisher. And dude's just really good. 7 minutes is tough for him. And then you've got Facundo, who's been off the folk style scene for a while. He transferred last year from Penn State to Oklahoma State. He got an injury year last year, so he still has 3 years of eligibility, I believe. And so Cowboy fans should get used to the sight of watching Alex Facundo wrestling. Really, for Alex, his freestyle success has always been fantastic. It's can he get it done at the NCAA folk style level? Can't wait to see what Facundo can do. And I think this is just an absolutely fantastic match. And then, we'll get to see Zach Ryder again at 184, 197. I think Stanford will use Angelo Posada. He's a true freshman. You saw him at Who's Number 1 last year wrestling against Cade Ziola. I think Posada's really good. Likes to attack the legs, low-level stuff. He can scramble pretty well. I think he's going to be a tough out for whoever Oklahoma State puts on the mat, whether it's Mower or Merrill or someone else. I think it's going to be a good test. I think it'll probably be Cody Merrill, but a little uncertainty there. And then our first look at Connor Doucette, who, man, Oklahoma State fans, and not just fans, personnel, people close to the room, staff, are incredibly high on Connor Doucette. He took, last year he was behind Wyatt Hendrickson, got to train with, is still training with Wyatt Hendrickson and Coach Taylor and company. And so now we'll get our first look at Connor. Everyone's really excited about what he can do. Now we'll see what he will do. And it's going to be a great duel up in Stillwater. I'm going to be there along with my boy, the Sweet Prince, Connor Petros, one of our stud shooters here. Going to be getting some content with the Cowboys in preparation for the national duel. So hope to run into you up there. It's going to be a great, great Friday up in Stillwater. Hope to see you there. What are you most excited about when it comes to the Stanford-Oklahoma State dual meet? I want to hear from you.